Today on Weekend Business Report, the future in energy, natural gas infrastructure development with cleaner burning fuels.
Welcome to Weekend Business Report. I'm Ileana Bravo. Today we focus on the future of energy and the environment. The Environmental Protection Agency has implemented newer and stricter emission standards for America's trucking fleets. Now these standards could require fleet owners to significantly retool their current fleets. But Ryder, one of the nation's leading truck leasing specialists, has found an alternative fuel solution that not only meets or exceeds the government standards today, it's also saving companies money. See these trucks? They look and operate like your typical diesel vehicle, but they're running on clean and green natural gas. Bill Osteen is the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Golden Eagle Distributors, a beverage distributor based in Arizona.
We were running diesel trucks, obviously, for a number of years.
So in order to be environmentally responsible, Bill and Golden Eagle collaborated with their longtime truck leasing partner, Ryder, to find an alternative fuel solution.
We've been leasing trucks from Ryder for over 43 years. We keep our expertise in beverages and we let them perform their expertise. Our venture into alternative fuels started really about 5 years ago, and then just decided that CNG was the way we wanted to go.
CNG, or compressed natural gas, along with LNG, liquefied natural gas, is an abundant and domestic clean burning fuel. But the decision to switch their fleet over wasn't easy.
A bit of a scary decision, primarily because it did vary from the norm and it was different than what everyone else was doing. But our company has always prided itself on being pioneers in technology and really looking outside the box and how to get a particular job done. There was a lot of comfort that was derived from partnering with Ryder.
With over 40 million natural gas miles traveled, Ryder is the first mover in natural gas vehicles and infrastructure in the U.S. commercial market. Scott Perry is Ryder's Vice President of Supply Management and Global Fuel Products.
Customers look to us to be the ones looking for those solutions and anticipating those needs and those pain points, and really expect for Ryder to be the one bringing forward those solutions, sometimes before even the need is understood. Converting to natural gas and advanced fuel technologies has probably never been easier. We can meet the 2017 standards today. We can meet the 2021 standards today with natural gas. So many fleets are looking at that as opposed to introducing new complexity and new technologies from a diesel platform. How can they leverage natural gas to meet those emissions requirements as part of their solution ahead of the mandated dates and reap the benefit of that today?
Rather than retrofit existing diesel trucks, Ryder has worked with manufacturers to provide natural gas solutions that are not only reliable, but are the right solutions for each of their customers' needs.
We've taken a lot of the risk out of the equation with it being a new engine platform and unknown technology. We work with those customers and work with the manufacturers to understand the application of the engine, the configuration of the fuel systems, the way in which the vehicles are going to be utilized. It's very much a consultative type of approach in understanding their operations and which technology needs to be applied and in what form. So whether it's CNG or LNG, we've deployed it with customers as small as one vehicle and as large as over 100 vehicles. Whether it's the smallest local mom and pop operator or the largest national fleet in the country, we have solutions that can help them introduce natural gas into their operations.
Ryder has the expertise and the reach within the industry to have all of the best equipment. We know that they've done their homework. They've ferreted out what the good engines are, what the good features on the trucks were going to be, and we counted on them when it came time to spec the trucks, and they were able to provide equipment that's top-notch.
Uptime is extremely important to us and to our customers. Keeping our customer's vehicle on the road is one of the key promises that we make.
So, Ryder is investing major dollars around the country to build and update their fleet maintenance facilities like this one in Orange, California.
This is a pretty dynamic facility. Within it, you'll see our full-service lease customers bringing their vehicles in for planned maintenance. You'll see them having their vehicles fueled, so we have a full-service fueling operation.
We can't be down with our trucks. Through the years, Ryder has understood that. They've made it a point that if we have something that goes down, we either get it fixed immediately or we get another truck to be able to finish that route.
Natural gas is an abundant domestic fuel source. The U.S. has the second largest reserves in the world and enough to last for at least 100 years. Additionally, natural gas is cheaper. Diesel prices have been volatile depending on the foreign oil market, while natural gas prices have remained steady over the past 10 years and are currently at about $2.11 per gallon.
We've had over 50% reduction in our fuel costs, and when you combine everything fleet related, our fleet expenses went down 4.6% year over year. And we think that's a big win.
Ryder maintains a relationship with that customer throughout the life of that asset, to the point where we essentially guarantee the operating cost of that vehicle over that full lease term, which in our model could be 5 to 7 years. It takes a lot of risk out of the equation with emerging technologies or new technology vehicles, and it's something that we've been able to leverage to benefit many, many customers in the marketplace.
When you combine the factors of what it's meant to the community, what it's meant to our company in terms of recognition. We've won some Fleets of the Year awards. We won Tucson's Greenest Workplace. We've been recognized in a number of ways, and to have a savings to go along with that, we obviously think that's a home run. We feel we have the best partner when it comes to trucking with Ryder.
An environmentally friendly and economic solution that's leading industry change for the better. We take a look at a state where alternative fuels are not only benefiting industries throughout the state, but nationally as well. We go to Indiana. Industry, agriculture, and commerce, they're all the backbone of Indiana's economy. But now clean, domestic, and affordable natural gas is helping to make the state an energy leader. And the Greater Indiana Clean Cities Coalition is helping to bring together the stakeholders in the public and private sectors.
Indiana is the crossroads of America. 65% of the population can get to Indiana in less than a day's drive. And when it comes to natural gas as an alternative fuel application, we have in the last year and a half tripled the number of public CNG stations that we have in the state with the help of legislation that an alternative fuel champion I have in our state legislator, Representative Randy Fry, helped us pass. We're providing a $15,000 tax credit to Class 8 fleet operators to purchase natural gas trucks built in Indiana and primarily plated in Indiana.
This is IMCO in Union City, Indiana.
Over the last few years, the development of both original engine manufacturer and aftermarket natural gas systems has expanded dramatically. In Indiana, we're proud to be partners with IMCO Automotive, who is the largest North American upfitter and system designer of natural gas and propane systems.
This is our conversion facility. This is where we focus on really our 4 primary business segments, which consist of shuttle bus conversions or paratransit vehicles. We are a Tier 1 supplier to the OEMs. We design fuel systems for them, and we also install fuel systems for some OEMs. We also do business-to-business fleet conversions where we may partner up with a company like AT&T or some other large fleets. We also have a certified installer kitting operation where we manufacture kits that we will ship to an installer that we have certified to actually do these installations throughout the country. We've actually went to municipalities and we have certified them to do the installation on their own vehicles. The municipality actually has the ability to source the vehicle, buy the kit directly from us, and then once we have trained them and certified them, they can do the conversion on their own products. So as you can imagine, you cut out that middleman, which saves the municipality quite a bit of money. We have a relationship with many different OEMs. We are General Motors' partner for their OEM CNG conversions. We also are a Ford QVM, which means we're a qualified vehicle modifier. This gives the ability to ship through Ford product and make it available to the market. We have a ship-through program with Isuzu as well. And we also have an OEM Tier 1 relationship with Thomas Built school buses. These are the Type A smaller school buses that we do conversions for.
While IMCO's vehicle conversions and training help make natural gas vehicles viable for many, when it comes to Class 8 vehicle fleets, the large semis, a more specialized partner can help.
We started working with fleets to implement natural gas engines from Cummins. Palmer is a wonderful partner in the way that they can help support the fleet in not only the acquisition and design of the fuel system of the truck, but also the maintenance and follow-up support and driver training and technician training for those companies.
The compressed natural gas engine began about 5 or 6 years ago for our industry, and we were a leader in that. Whether they be dump trucks or flatbeds or over the road, the CNG market started emerging in the municipalities. And what we found is that this emerging technology was really somewhat of a foreign thing for the heavy-duty truck in our market. And what we decided that we would focus our energies primarily on the education and the training and tech side of it rather than the marketing side. So what we've provided is significant tech training for our own technicians and for the fleets that have these CNG trucks.
And those fleets need fuel. Indiana has tripled the number of CNG stations in the past year and a half alone.
Part of the success of our being able to triple the number of CNG stations in a year and a half here in Indiana are because of companies like KCO and Gem Energy and Constellation CNG and AMP CNG.
Natural gas is a mixture comprised primarily of methane, and here in Indiana, AMP CNG is sourcing their CNG from an unlikely place.
Fair Oaks Dairy came to the coalition with the project they were in the process of developing for renewable compressed natural gas. Fair Oaks Dairy is a large dairy facility in northwest Indiana, and the dairy industry are mandated to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions here in the near future.
So Fair Oaks Dairy came up with a unique solution. They capture the methane produced by their own cows' waste products in a digester. The methane is then sold to the local gas utility, which is then fed to the dairy's own CNG station to fuel their delivery trucks.
We've now been running those trucks for 4 years, 2 generations of engine, and we're up over 30 million miles on compressed natural gas now. We built the first 2 stations to serve dairy runs, taking milk from the dairy here in Fair Oaks to processing plants in Kentucky and Ohio and other places. When we began to understand how much money we were saving, how much of a positive impact we were making on the environment with our own fleet, we realized that this would be true for other dairy fleets. It would be true for large, heavy trucking fleets in general. And we took that inspiration and realized that we could have much more impact on the market by rolling out a network of stations across the country. We want everybody to use CNG. We want everybody to take the benefits of CNG in their logistics and trucking fleet. We share this information precisely because we're not a trucking company, but rather because we want to make every trucking company in the country better able to take advantage of the benefits of CNG.
But CNG is not the only natural gas fuel. There's also liquefied natural gas, or LNG.
Basically, the decision comes down to how far do you drive? What's the range that you need to have on your vehicle? LNG in a liquid form can provide more gallons in a tank than what a compressed natural gas system can provide. So based on the miles you drive, you may have to have more tanks on your truck if you're using CNG than you would if you're using LNG.
LNG is held at very low temperatures, and while it may look dangerous, both CNG and LNG are safer than traditional diesel. In the unlikely event of a breach or spill, it simply dissipates into the air and goes away.
The Greater Indiana Clean Cities is also very proud to have another partner in Indiana through Kinetrix Energy, a subsidiary of Citizens Energy Group. Kinetrix Energy has 2 liquefied natural gas facilities in the Indianapolis area.
You just get a lot more energy density with LNG than you do with CNG. Additionally, LNG is effectively purifying the natural gas, and so where you need a higher product quality, then the LNG is superior to CNG as well. We manufacture the LNG here. We don't sell retail, we don't transport the fuel, we don't store it and vaporize it. Those are all very important and critical parts of the value chain here, but we start at the beginning here. We're the ones that are actually putting the value into the value chain. This is where the LNG is actually manufactured. We're within a day's drive of 65% of the nation's population. In addition, we're also the crossroads America when it comes to the interstate pipelines that feed a lot of the great cities up north in cities like Chicago, Detroit, but then also out east. This confluence of the transportation industry and the natural gas infrastructure puts us in the perfect location to supply the Midwest and even out to the East Coast. In fact, from our location, we supply locations as far north as Canada, as far to the west as Colorado, and as far east out into the coast. And so we have a pretty far reach. Indeed, only about 5% of the LNG we manufacture is actually used here in Indiana. All the rest of it is exported around the country. In order to make this work, you have to make it simple. You have to make other players within the market understand this new fuel. The Indiana Clean Cities Coalition brings a lot of the key players together. They also act as an advocate for us with members within the coalition, both from a legislative and then also from a policy standpoint.
The Clean Cities program, the support labs, and the Department of Energy are always looking for the next step, the next phase in the process to expand the use of the existing alternative fuels and technologies. Certainly across the board in all alternative fuels, we need more infrastructure on a public level to make it not only available for fleet operators, but available for the general public as well. So we're continually looking for ways to improve upon and expand the development and deployment of alternative fuels and technologies, and it's all for one reason, for us to be energy independent in Indiana and across the nation.
Truly inspiring to see the private and public sectors coming together to benefit all of us. As alternative fuels, especially CNG, compressed natural gas, take hold, trucking fleets are realizing the benefits. Here's what Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick had to say.
The natural gas is clean, it's cheap, it's here, and it will save taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars in the years ahead.
However, the biggest challenge has been the availability of CNG infrastructure. Richard Allen reports.
This looks like a typical gas station you see along the highway, complete with fuel, amenities, even a restaurant. But this station is different. The trucks here are fueling with CNG, or compressed natural gas.
By using natural gas to fuel our vehicles, we can start getting off the foreign oil, become independent of other countries, and be able to have our own security here in the United States.
Bob Baldwin is president and CEO of Texas-based CNG for America.
It's clean. On top of that, it allows us to clean up our skies around the bigger cities especially. Smog is certainly a big issue which causes health issues. It's also very quiet. When you listen to a diesel truck go by here as we're at this truck stop, you'll hear it's very loud. A CNG tractor is less loud. Drivers love the fact that they're quieter because they can ride more comfortably with a quieter truck.
It runs as good as the diesel. Pulls as good, you know. Accelerates a little faster than a diesel, you know.
Besides performance, CNG is a domestic fuel which helps to support energy independence.
We want to have our country become independent of other countries. CNG is getting us there in a big way. We have produced so much CNG in the last few years that they're just trying to figure out where we can put it all.
And that abundant supply has not only kept CNG prices very low, it has also kept them very stable.
Fleets in America are very concerned about the volatility of the prices of their fuel. We've been at the same price now for nearly 2 years, or at least within 10 cents of it. And we don't expect that price is going to change hardly at all over the next oncoming years. In fact, we're offering price stability to some of the fleets that we are
signing contracts with so that they can have the same price or a capped price over the next few years.
Even with all the environmental and economic benefits, there's still one challenge, and that is building out the CNG infrastructure so that fleets can easily get from point A to point B. And that's exactly what CNG for America is doing.
When I first started in the CNG fueling business, I went around the country and looked to see what I could find, and most of the CNG fueling stations were only available for small vehicles. And we knew that Class 8 trucks were going to start fueling with natural gas because they have the most to benefit because they go through so much fuel. And so we wanted to build stations where the largest of trucks in this country could come in and fill. And we wanted to make sure that they had the amenities that they're used to, such as bathrooms, snacks, coffee, even showers. And a driver, when he stops, he doesn't want to stop at another place to use a restroom. So he wants to come here, get his fuel, get his drinks, get a snack, use the bathroom, and then get on down the road. They've got a time schedule to meet, and they don't want to have to stop at another place to get that done.
It's convenient. It's on, it's easy in and easy out. It's better than some of them we got.
One of the things that we've been very careful to make sure is that the fueling experience as far as speed is good. So at our stations, we strive to get at least 10 gallons a minute for these drivers.
And to make it even quicker and easier, CNG for America ordered special dispenser nozzles.
When we built these stations, we bought these nozzles to make it easier for drivers to fill up. They look and feel like a normal nozzle. You just stick them on, squeeze the handle, and then push the start button over here, and away you go. We need thousands of CNG stations around the country. So our next evolution in our company was, instead of building a station at a location for the local fleets, let's start building routes for the transient fleets. So now we are looking at building stations from Houston to Florida. So we've already got a lease agreement with a truck stop in Lafayette, Louisiana. So we're looking at places all along I-10. We're looking at routes from Laredo to Memphis, from Denver to St. Louis. And with that, we can actually make 4 or 5 stations profitable even with one fleet. CNG for America is just proud to be a part of this CNG revolution that's happening across our country. We're excited to be a part of it. We are wanting to have a big influence. We want to see a CNG station in every city, in every town, a CNG vehicle in every garage. I know that's a big goal, but I believe it's very, very achievable.
For Weekend Business Report, I'm Richard Allen reporting.
Keeping it all clean and green. Huge overhead electrical wires. They carry gigawatts of power to our homes, businesses, and government facilities. For decades, they've been connected to a central power plant.
Our electric grid is really designed back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And it's designed to be a very top-down, very centralized system. So power is generated at large power generation stations, and the power then flows through a distribution system out to the end customers.
But now, as America and the rest of the world transition from traditional sources of power generation to renewables, such as wind and solar, there are now glitches in the system.
Our utility system has always been an extremely reliable, probably the most reliable piece of your life. As the renewable systems come on, that is going to change, and a different distributed energy and storage solution will have to be incorporated to ensure that the transition to renewables will be a very seamless and very fruitful endeavor.
In other words, instead of your power coming from one central source, it will come from multiple sources, depending on what's available at that moment. And it's a microgrid that controls all of this.
Microgrids are a solution to an aging electrical grid. The grid can go out, and our lives are so dependent on having power available. So microgrids help solve that problem, either by generating your power right where you need it, or by supplementing the grid around you to make it more sustainable and more reliable and secure, so you don't have to worry about energy ever going away.
One of the challenges we face with microgrids is a brief momentary power outage as the grid switches from one energy source to another. That can have far-reaching repercussions in the private sector as well as the public. But now, Go Electric has an innovative solution.
Go Electric has a very unique patented microgrid technology we call Blinkless. Blinkless allows you to go on and off the grid very seamlessly at full power, literally blinklessly. The lights don't blink, the owners don't even know they're off of the grid, and that's important.
In fact, it's so important that the U.S. Northern Command has a demonstration project called Spiders, and Go Electric is a part of it.
U.S. Northern Command is the geographic combatant command that is responsible for the homeland defense of North America and the American people. The Spiders demonstration is the smart power infrastructure demonstration for energy reliability and security. It provides a smart cyber microgrid that integrates renewable energy, energy storage, and traditional backup diesel generation, all to protect the energy delivery to mission-critical assets. Our objective is energy security, and the microgrids are part of the solution space that we're looking at that provides us the mission assurance because it allows it to independently operate in the event of a man-made or a natural disaster.
The national security implications of smart grid technology like those developed by Go Electric reach beyond just helping a military base or a company. They also address nationwide the ability for us to reduce our dependence on imported petroleum.
As more sources of power generation come online, the ability for an organization or an individual to set up their own microgrid is also being enabled by Go Electric.
Go Electric's energy resiliency system is aimed at helping small businesses be resilient to any grid interruptions that could happen either due to a hurricane or just to a grid outage or any reason whatsoever. So the ERS, Energy Resiliency System, literally forms a microgrid and gives them the ability to tap into a generator for power, renewable energy for power, or batteries for power. And our Blinkless technology, which is built into that system, blinklessly switches as what is needed depending on what the circumstances are. For a business owner, it means your business is always in operations. For a military base, it means your radar is always working, your operations are always working, you're always doing what you need to do to keep the country secure.
The core of what Go Electric has developed from an academic perspective is being able to go into the individual cycles of AC power that happen at 60 cycles per second and be able to switch within one cycle. It's amazing technology.
I see the future of microgrids continue to grow in the United States. It's a great solution to help boost the grid, and it's a great solution to enable renewable energy to get more and more penetrated into our overall grid system.
Until next time, I'm Ileana Bravo for Weekend Business Report.
Find Weekend Business Report at weekendbusinessreport.com.